Hello, this is Han Kim from Mocar. Today the car we're looking at is the Hyundai IONIQ 9. Wow, it's the talk of the town. I wonder how they managed to make it so affordable. It's said to be over 6.2 million won cheaper than the EV9, and I'm curious how that's even possible. It has 10% more battery capacity than the EV9, a longer driving range, and many other superior features. Because of this, it seems like it could shake up the global electric vehicle market. On the other hand, some people might think that something must be missing, given the lower price. So, we will find out through a test drive whether this car is truly excellent in performance or if there are any shortcomings. So stay with us until the end. Okay, stop, back up continuously and repeatedly. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to all of you. It's really cool, isn't it? Now, let's get started. I'm excited. Let's go. Oh, what's this? The car is moving, even though the engine hasn't started. I can't hear any engine noise. Wow, that's right. Since this car is electric, of course, you can't hear the engine noise, right? It feels good. When I first rode an electric car, I was really amazed, like, wow, this is really incredible. But now I think I've gotten used to it. I've definitely gotten used to it. And beyond just being quiet, I now look at whether an electric car has successfully implemented the various elements it should inherently have. For example, the driving sensation and acceleration. If an electric car is poorly made, the initial transmission can feel too strong. The sensation when decelerating can also be excessively strong. So there are often cases where the initial acceleration feels jerky, but it seems like they manage that well. Electric cars inevitably have a somewhat firm feel, but we'll also look into whether the ride comfort has been properly implemented. From what I've seen so far, it feels very appealing. Oh, it's quite good. It has the characteristic firmness of an electric car, yet it seems they've made a considerable effort to make the ride quite smooth. Of course, electric cars are generally a bit firmer compared to regular gasoline cars. Moreover, larger cars are even firmer. Side view mirror. The 21-inch tires are also indeed firm. So, if possible, should you definitely choose the 21-inch option? Or is it not really necessary for you? Considering these factors, opting for the 19-inch tire option might be a very reasonable choice. The initial impression upon entering the interior is, oh, it's quite pretty. It's pretty, but the color tone is very strong, so it seems to have a much stronger contrast than the car I usually drive. This car has so many elements that it might feel a bit overwhelming at first. However, the interior elements are something you can choose transmission. Looking at the interior colors, there are various options like the synthetic leather version and the Nappa leather version. If I were to choose one, I think the mud gray and creamy beige two-tone suits me best. Of course, this doesn't mean it's bad. And some people might like the black monotone as well. However, for those who want something a bit more striking than a typical car, it's still an expensive car even though it's said to be released at a lower price. 67 million won is by no means a cheap car. When driving such an expensive car, it should show that it's a pricey car, that it's a special car. You should have some interior like that. So the green looks okay and the dark teal light gray doesn't look bad either. So it seems better to have some color rather than just black. When you first sit in the car, you get a strong sense of luxury. The side view mirror gives you the feeling that this is not an ordinary car. You get the impression of its enormous size. However, when you actually drive it, it doesn't feel like a big car. It feels very light and nimble. When you press the accelerator pedal, you get this feeling. The deceleration is smooth, and you can also do acceleration and deceleration automatically. So when you get close to a puncture, it automatically regenerates braking. Even if you don't use cruise control, if it says auto here, when you get close to a puncture, the speed decreases. When you get close to a puncture, the speed decreases to the point where I'm not even pressing the pedal, but the car stops. It's amazing, right? The car stops like this, so you only have to drive halfway. I only press the accelerator pedal when accelerating, and it takes care of deceleration by itself, so you only have to drive half the time. If you don't like that and want the steering wheel to turn a bit, you can press a button. When you press the button, it turns the steering wheel. How does it turn the steering wheel? It follows the car in front and maintains the center of the lane. So even if the lane markings are erased, it follows the car in front, so you don't have to do much driving. You just need to help a little bit. If it seems like the steering wheel isn't turning enough, just a little bit each time, and when you're holding the steering wheel, it goes beep, 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 right? Additionally, you can have tenting and shock absorber features to enhance the driving experience. It doesn't beep. Thank you, it doesn't beep. It has capacitive sensors around the steering wheel, so you just need to place your hand near it. It's nice, isn't it? It's really advanced now. ADAS has completely integrated into our lives. It has smoothly become a part of us. In the past, you might have advertised that a car had such features, but nowadays they don't advertise it anymore because it's become a given. If you see people driving around you, at least those driving an IONIQ 9, they are likely using ADAS to drive with an open mind to new things, like a parking brake person. They are naturally driving using ADAS. You just rest your hand on the steering wheel and occasionally press the accelerator pedal. It applies in a way that helps a little bit without turning on tinting cruise control. If you turn on tinting cruise control, it makes driving even more comfortable. I'll set the following distance to level 1 and drive around. When driving on city roads, you drive like this. I'm not pressing the pedal at all right now. You just drive like this, taking it easy. Oh, why is the road to the ski resort so far and rough? Oh, it's congested. You can take it easy on a congested road, listen to music with your family, sing songs, and even though you can't watch YouTube, you can do those things. But in this situation, I wish I could play YouTube. It would be nice to play YouTube in this situation. If YouTube was on, someone would say, wow, he's so handsome, and it would be nice to hear that. In this situation, I wish the transmission could allow playing YouTube. But in this situation, there might be times when I want to listen to the sound while starting off, right? Can I listen to the sound while starting? There are probably people who listen to YouTube with audio. There's also YouTube music. Useful knowledge like Mocar should be listened to while driving. There are a lot of people like this. You guys are like that too, right? Right? Just by listening, you can gain various knowledge. I want to listen to excellent channels like Side View Mirror while driving. Many people are expressing this sentiment. Why can't Hyundai allow us to listen while driving? Of course, it should be possible. People are saying this, and I wish they would. Why can't we hear it when we put it in reverse? It's not like it interferes with driving. It's the same as listening to the radio. And the strange thing is DMV can be heard while driving. Public opinion also says reform is needed. Oh my, stop talking about politics. It could be a big issue. Anyway, in the case of DMV, you can listen while driving. But why can't we listen to YouTube? There should be consistency. Either make it so you can't listen to both or allow both. I wish they would choose one of the two. With this car you can do many things, but the most important is probably the ability to cruise long distances steadily. Can it travel long distances smoothly? From our driving experience, you can feel the slight bumps on the road. You can feel it in the steering wheel and in the seat, that slight bumping sensation. Of course, it's not uncomfortable. Many people consider ride comfort a very important factor, but ride comfort is very subjective. There aren't really cars where one has excellent ride comfort and another has terrible ride comfort. Such differences don't exist. After all, the shock absorber is supplied by the same company, the configuration is the same, and the parts are the same. So in the end, how different can two cars be? That's why the ride comfort of many cars isn't that different. Therefore, I don't think it's appropriate to say something is particularly good or bad about ride comfort. Is it average? Is it comfortable? The transmission is not uncomfortable, and even if the motorcycle is different, how different can it be? It's comfortable, not uncomfortable. However, there's no reason to say the ride comfort is overwhelmingly good. Recently, there have been various efforts to overcome these issues, but this car doesn't show any particularly outstanding efforts. For one, it doesn't have variable dampers or air suspension. There's no special height adjustment or steering wheel features. Therefore, it's hard to find any element that makes you feel there has been an overwhelming improvement with Hyundai cars at the moment. However, the quietness is really excellent. With the introduction of the IONIQ 9, the glass is D6. I went up to T and got a 6-meter glass horn. Previously, Hyundai car's glass was double laminated, but it was a thin double laminated glass. However, with the IONIQ 9, the glass has become much thicker, almost Tesla level. As a result, it feels much quieter. Of course, because the car is so quiet, outside noise can be heard a bit louder, but despite that, the sound absorption is so good that you can hardly hear outside noise in the IONIQ 9's glass car. There's a car going by right now, isn't there? Car noise. Do you hear anything? You hear something, right? Sound of silence. You hear something like that? I really like this car has active noise cancelling. You need to include the Bose sound system for it to come with it. Anyway, it's an essential feature, but I do wonder why it only comes with that. So it is equipped with a separate microphone that detects transmission noise and recognizes road noise, then emits sound waves of the opposite phase through the speakers to your ears. Because of this, if there is a sound of the opposite phase, it cancels out and disappears. Utilizing such features is characteristic of ANCR's transmission. It's really quiet, isn't it? Because it's really quiet, this sound feels more like physical contact, this airflow sound right now. It's really annoying, but isn't there a way to fix this? Currently, Hyundai has some issues. They haven't thought about addressing the wind noise. It seems like the wind is designed to come out from below the transmission, not from above. The wind is coming from the middle. Let me try turning it up. Well, it's understandable if it makes noise when it's on high, but it's in the middle right now. And the wind noise at this level is a bit hard to understand. It's too loud. The wind noise needs to be addressed. It's too noisy. It's on auto level 1, and for it to make this much noise on auto level 1 is a bit much. The noise is excessively loud. The collision warning just gave him an unnecessary alert. So I pressed the pedal, but the shock absorber all the way, because it stopped by itself. If there's enough distance for it to stop on its own, yet it still gives a collision warning, then that function must be improperly set. It's a very detailed aspect, and it would be nice if those details could be refined a bit more. Then in such a quiet car, you definitely have to try listening to some music. Young, Joule, shock absorber, little kid, walking matter, so just looks thick, and I'm spinning around. I'm the king in the shoe. One look breaks it, flash speed drop, flash Mac. The sound is really good, very solid, and surprisingly so. I think it might be among the best sounds from Hyundai cars. Of course, it's not perfect, the side view mirror, shock absorber, but every time a new car comes out, the sound keeps getting better. And I think electric cars are a perfect listening space for sound. First of all, there's no engine noise, and the soundproofing is excellent. The reverberation is also well controlled to some extent. So overall, I feel that this space is really good, and the sound is excellent. It's quite nice, isn't it? I'm not sure about the standard sound of the side view mirror, but anyway, with the Bose sound system installed now, it feels like a very good sound. I'm satisfied. Yes, I just took a quick look and I checked out the ride comfort and audio, and they are quite decent. We will continue the test drive after examining the exterior and interior. So how do you find the exterior? Do you like it? The car is a very large vehicle, but it is designed in such a way that its size is hardly noticeable, which is a distinctive feature. Some people might think, what is this? The design is a bit ugly, while others might find it surprisingly stylish. Design is truly a matter of personal taste. I am already accustomed to it. Especially the rear design is shock absorber, but no matter what, I can't get used to the front design. Is this right? At least I'm not good at naming white cars. Recently, Hyundai has been actively using black plastic on the front part. Especially if you look at the parking brake, there's a large piece of black plastic. The IONIQ 9 also has this kind of black plastic. In essence, you could say the IONIQ 9 is the electric version of the Palisade transmission. It also has 3 rows and can seat 7 people. And the overall length and width are similar. Nevertheless, when the Palisade was designed, a significant portion of the front was done in black, and this has been well continued. It's designed so you can feel that it's part of the same family. However, I feel a bit disappointed with the increased use of black. When you buy a white car, you want the whole car to be white, just bright. But having a lot of black means that white might not suit this car very well. I think the color that suits the IONIQ 9 best is red. Red is not available in Korea, but it is in the US, and the contrast between red and black looks very stylish. But that's just my personal taste, and I hope you choose the color that suits you best. So I think it might be good to consider another color besides white. Now the wheels are currently 21 inches, and they feel quite large. Wow, look at those big wheels. However, if you look at this series, the 45 physical contact, the tire profile isn't that high. I don't feel that the ride comfort is worsened by the tires, but if possible, it might be good to lower it to 19 inches to see how the ride comfort changes. Next time, if we have the opportunity, we'll try 19-inch tires and let you know how the ride comfort changes. Also, the presence of a dash cam suggests that white might not suit this car very well. So overall, is the car beautiful? I haven't quite gotten used to the front part yet, but I really like the silhouette. First of all, the line that goes down from the top and the line where the chrome rises from the side look very stylish. And also, when it's white, the chrome kind of fades away, which feels a bit unfortunate. Because this is quite unique. Choosing a car that's not white might make this part stand out more. And now let's open the trunk and take a closer look at the rear of this car. But if you look here, there's something unusual. Transmission, there are 3 cameras here, right? What is this? These are rear cameras. There's a puncture camera that shows the rear when parking, a camera for the digital center mirror, and a dash cam. So there are 3 separate cameras. Do they really need to be separate? Couldn't they have used a wider angle camera with higher resolution and then digitally utilized it in various ways like this, like that, and like this? If this is what they call SDV, I wonder if it would have been better to consider using a single piece of hardware with very high resolution and then utilizing it widely in various ways through software. However, it seems they resolved it through hardware rather than software. Anyway, the issue with these 3 hardware cameras so far is a bit of a transmission, because with these SUVs, especially those with a sloped rear, what happens here? Vortices are created and a tremendous low pressure forms at the back. What does it mean when low pressure forms? If water splashes on the ground, it gets sucked into the low pressure. So as vortices form here, small muddy water particles stick to it. Then you can't see here, especially since there's a digital center mirror. If the center mirror or the rear camera becomes obscured, it won't work. So there's a separate washer made to clean this part. Now there's a function to clean the rear camera, but hold on a moment. There's a function to clean it, right? There's a cleaning function, but hey, this is a bit... Could it be cleaned a bit more elegantly? First of all, what do we do about this part? It's thoroughly functional because it can't be invisible, so it sprays washer fluid. That's good. Spraying washer fluid is good, of course, it should spray it, but isn't it a bit excessive? Since it's the beginning, I think it will be improved. That's the feeling. And now, looking at it, what do we do about the trunk? Is this the button to open the trunk? Is this it? Is it this? What do you think it might be? There are 3 buttons on the trunk that look exactly the same. It's this one, of course. They are using buttons that look very similar, and one of the peculiar points seen in the IONIQ 9 this time is that the trunk space is very spacious. Even with the 3rd row up, the trunk space is ample, which I like. Don't you feel anything when you look at it? The opening that opens up is very large, which is unusual. In the past, the pillar was attached diagonally like this. Because it was attached diagonally, the pillar itself took up a lot of interior space. But now it is made completely vertical, so the entire area is fully open. And because the lamps are vertical, this part is very narrow, making the actual open space wide. This will obviously be helpful when sitting in the car, but it will also be very useful when loading items like long horizontal objects, such as golf clubs or snowboards. The 3rd row space is ample. And when you look at the 3rd row, there is an additional storage space below. You can place a fire extinguisher or a tripod there. And it's not easy to take out luggage from here, so they have meticulously designed these features. Wow, is the car this meticulous? By doing this, you can hang it here, set it upright, and load luggage, allowing you to use the rear view mirror. The storage space is designed like this. It's not even that big, and they go this far. Anyway, Hyundai is doing a good job with these meticulous elements in their own way. And if you look here, when you press this button, the transmission does this. And here you can see a 220V outlet is provided. Can you see this picture? It's a smiley face, right? This smiling part is absolutely necessary. Without this smiling mouth, it won't work. Without it, there's no grounding, which causes problems, so the mouth at the bottom must be there. So there are things like that, and if you look here, you can tinting the rear seats like this. When you recline the rear seat, the headrest tilts back perfectly. Right. Did you see that? It shows such meticulousness with the headrest tilting back perfectly. And the second reclines backward and then tilts forward. This is what you can call meticulousness. Detail. It seems there was some luggage. You can see it not reclining and then bouncing back up with a thud. This is exactly what detail is. Both the 2nd and 3rd rows rise back up. Even things like this are possible. If you recline it this way, you can go inside and camp in the car. Oh my goodness, it's really comfortable. I can see the sky. It appears panoramically. The Palisade doesn't have this. The Palisade doesn't have it. But the IONIQ 9 has a panoramic sunroof. Wow, it's nice, isn't it? It's really nice. I'm seriously thinking that this is something you must buy. It's okay, it's very okay. It's perfect for going to the ski resort. But the space for loading luggage in this car is not just the rear trunk. This car also has a frunk in the front. The horn opens right away here. There are no tinting things to find or do. You can just open it directly. When you open it, there's a storage space like this. I really like that there's no separate lid. This storage space is wider than I thought. In large cases, it supports up to 88L. It doesn't seem to be 88L right now, but anyway, it shows a very large space. And if you look here, things like refrigerant are covered. So overall, it's neat. It's not empty here and there. It's made neatly like this. It should have been like this from the beginning. It's very pretty. Things like the washer fluid can be put in well. And the position of the washer fluid, and even if you make a mistake with the washer fluid, it doesn't cause problems. It shows that they paid attention to various details. And here, this mark, you must know what it is, because this is the parking brake fluid. If you make a mistake, it can be a big problem. The fan of the air conditioning system is not inside but moved outside, so the air conditioner filter is also replaced here. But since the car is quite large, it's not easy to take this out. Replacing it is getting more difficult as it gets deeper. This is the lid. Inside the lid, it goes in this much more, so you probably have to do it where your hand can barely reach. If you're not careful, it might drop. The button, what this button is for is in case you get trapped here. When you need to escape, you open this and press the button, and this is the button that opens the lid. Legally, an escape button must be made. In the US, although we don't have this law in our country, it's made like this in case someone gets trapped, but it's really meaningless. It's really meaningless. And here, the soundproofing material is used like this instead of packing, as in the case of the IONIQ 6. There's rubber only on the bottom, so it's made to wrap upwards with rubber. There's a problem here too. It's interesting that they made 3 separate soundproofing materials here. The metal plate inside is made convex to properly serve as a lid. It really seems meticulous, and if you're going to take this car camping, you'll need to go off-road. To drive well off-road, there will be people who want 4-wheel drive. Going up the mountain and shock absorbers, the transmission is covered, so overall it's neat. Of course it's necessary, and having a 4-wheel drive system that can handle those things well is one of the big advantages. Oh, the color is really nice. From the driver's seat in the front, I thought this color was a bit too much. But once it comes into the seat, the color fits perfectly. It's a color that matches exactly, and the seat tilts forward like this for tinting, and then you go into the back. It's great that it can be tinted, but I guess it will happen someday, right? Yes, it will happen someday, right? It's still going, transmission. Now it's done. It takes a bit of time. Anyway, it's great that it's electric. So let's go in for now. Let's go in, and today. If you come this way, home and press the button, so again it will come back right. Oh, that's nice, huh? The knees are slightly touching, aren't they? Please pull it forward a bit there. Now, when sitting comfortably in the front like this, the knee space in the back seat is about this much. Of course, you can stretch your legs like this or spread them out like this. Transmission. When sitting in the back seat like this, the knee space is about this much, which looks comfortable. Does it look comfortable at this level? But that's not all, because it reclines back. Wow, this makes it comfortable. When sitting like this, it feels spacious and comfortable. And I quite like the lighting as well. First of all, it's spacious. It lights up the whole area brightly, which looks nice. The air conditioning system is coming down from the ceiling. You shouldn't feel cold as you're in the 3rd row. You can show the air vents like this. Anyway, when sitting in the 3rd row, you can tinting the seats like this. The sides can also be tinting electrically like this. It's really nice. It's truly comfortable. It's spacious, and when sitting in the 3rd row of the Palisade, we always mentioned that there was a lack of headroom, but now there's no way the headroom is lacking. Your head can't touch. You can tell by the height of the seat. When reclined to 97, it's 96, 97. I usually say it's spacious if it's over 92. Wow. When reclined back, it gets a bit tighter at 96. Wow. It's amazing. It's truly spacious. The Palisade is only about 92.5, 93, so it's about 3 centimeters larger than the Palisade now. This size difference is significant because these 3 centimeters determine whether your head touches or not, making it a very big difference. So, when you sit in the 3rd row, it feels like you're not being left out. Usually in cars like the Santa Fe or Sionting, the 3rd row is okay, but it does feel a bit isolated. However, this car is different. Here you can see there's a separate speaker called a twiddler, which is slightly larger than a tweeter but smaller than a regular speaker, providing a sense of sound field. It's a Bose sound system. Also, there are separate cup holders on both the left and right sides, but as you might know, the sizes aren't the same. There are 2 on the right and 1 on the left. Additionally, there's a 100W Charging port available here. You probably don't have a charger at home with this capacity. It's an incredibly high number. This car has a total of 6 100W ports and one regular port, with ports located on both sides of the driver's seat, on both sides of the second row seats, and in the third row. However, not everyone can use the 100W port at full capacity. You need a Hyundai cable to charge at 100W. The price is 35,001. Given the powerful 100W capacity, it seems they believe not just anyone should use it. The Hyundai cable looks like this. How is the 35,001 cable different? Wow. Look at the quality, the thickness, and the fabric-wrapped edges. It's much better than an iPhone cable. The port is quite thick, suggesting there might be a chip inside, just like the MFI chip in iPhone cables that identifies them as iPhone specific. It seems there's a chip inside that recognizes it as a Hyundai cable. This recognition likely ensures that only Hyundai cables can charge at a 100W. Isn't this a bit of a Shoba cable business? You can do it, but it might be like that. Then you don't have to charge at 100 watts. I think there's another reason to make sure that people who absolutely have to charge at 100 watts use reliable cables. It's different from the Mission Home chip, so if there's a fire in the cable in the car, it could cause a really uncontrollable problem. So, for safety reasons, they're saying they're not going to shoot 100 watts, but it seems to make sense. Let's plug it in and check if it charges at 100W. There's a light indicator here. These details are meticulous. It says C right now, and it's showing 86W. And transmission. Isn't that impressive? It's going up to 86W. The third row is a decent space in its own right, but the important part of this car is the second row. So let's move to the second row and take a closer look. To move to the second row, you could go outside and use the horn, but since this is a 6-seater, you can also move like this from inside. From the 6-seater seat, it doesn't feel spacious, does it? It might seem a bit narrow at first glance, right? But it's not narrow. Adjusted backward transmission creates space when moved back with transmission. Overall, it's a very luxurious interior. Wow, it really feels like riding in an expensive car. These are wrapped in leather, which is quite exceptional. Even the seat backs are very luxurious. This color matches so well. Sitting here in the back seat, this color fits perfectly. This isn't overdone at all, is it? It's a bit strange that this part is made of plastic. Of course, this is definitely wrapped in urethane, so it does not feel completely cheap, but I do really wonder why they didn't extend it to this part as well. I like the rest of the interior, but I don't quite understand this handle. Why are they using a circular handle? It does not feel particularly good when operating it, and this circle doesn't really connect with the car's interior design. The Palisade also uses these circles, and it makes me wonder, what's with this side view mirror design? Is there a reason for this? I can't find any reason for it, and it's not comfortable either. Usually, when we open and close the door, how does your hand move? It goes like this, right? If you look at other door catches, you open them like this. Most of them are like that. But now you have to open it like this. How is that comfortable? I do have a slight thought like that, but, well, this is a very small part. It's not something to make a fuss about. And there are things like this. There's a kind of physical contact here, designed to connect seamlessly to the back, so it can provide some privacy and allow you to sleep in the car on long trips. The side view mirror, and here you see displays on both sides, but this is not a basic option. It's a Hyundai genuine accessory that can be installed separately. It's like convertibles with an iPad attached here. It doesn't have much direct connection with the various functions in the car. For example, when you watch a video, it seems like you can't see it. There are volume and mute switches here, but you can't say they're well made. It says the speaker is in use on another screen. This one says it's using the car's speaker, so neither can be used. Wow, that's amazing. So, conflict is expected. Of course, the ones in the back will naturally say, I want my sound to be heard. No, I want my sound to be heard. Dad, let me hear it. They'll probably keep saying this. Can you really endure that? Since it's an option that can potentially cause family conflicts, I indeed recommend you not to choose this. A minor difference from the Pad is that you can control various things like audio volume from the back seat, which is indeed an advantage. Also, for the air conditioning system, you can specifically set it from here, similar to what's in Genesis. So it indeed prevents people on both sides from seeing the same thing. This might indeed need to be addressed. It's a bit unusual that they can't watch the same thing. Is that okay? Some people might be okay with it, perhaps. I actually wanted to talk about this a bit more. Some people indeed say that this part of the Koleos is in fact separate and the screws are protruding. So isn't this, as some might say, a cost-cutting measure? Shouldn't it be made like Hyundai cars without such transmission? I mentioned that, but Hyundai has also changed like this. Wow, this is how it should be, right? If you want to use the door for a long time, it should be like this. Previously, they would bend the metal sheet to make the side view mirror door, but now, as a separate component, the side view mirrors and such have improved a lot. It feels like they are really paying attention to making it now, and I like that. Of course, it should be like this. However, this dash cam here looks too much like a kimchi storage bag, doesn't it? So I think they should have organized these things a bit better. As for the side view mirror, when you sit in the second row, it feels very luxurious. If you look here, the transmission storage compartment is quite deep. We used to say that the parking brake was too shallow, but those things have definitely become deeper. It's better than the Palisade. And for the air conditioning system, you can press buttons for things like the heater and ventilation. You can do this by pressing the auto button. You can turn the air conditioner on and off. And there are also things, you can open it. You can also open it from the back like this. Conversely, you can also open it from the front like this transmission. It has doors that open on both sides as if by magic. And now this car has buttons on the armrest, and these buttons are for pressing like this. Oh, I can't stand it. Oh, just go like this. Such a transmission. It's hard to endure. Is it just me? It feels a bit like torture. Honestly, this is okay. There's a built-in vibration device, and having this vibration device built into the chair is a bit suggestive, right? Vibe. And also the rear seats offer relaxation comfort seats, transmission. So this is what it is. Relaxation comfort. Wow, it's nice. It even lifts your legs like this and reclines back like this. The headrest feels surprisingly very soft, even though it just looks like a headrest. It's designed to slightly cradle your head. Transmission. So when you do this, it's nice. It's nice. Let's just go to the ski resort like this and proceed with the reservation. Let's take a look at the rear seats to this extent. And then due to time constraints, let's move to the front row and continue with the final test drive. Let's move to the front row.
Shall I guide you to this location, Walker Hill?
Yes, being able to do various things with voice recognition is truly a blessing. It's a major advantage of Hyundai. And now they've upgraded it to support Hyundai AI as well. Tell me something pleasant.
The weather is really nice today. The sunlight is shining warmly, making me feel like a jewel.
Yes, it kindly provides in various conversations like this. What engine oil is good for the IONIQ 9?
It is recommended to use a charging engine oil that meets the temperature and quality standards.
You've fallen into a trap. Generative AI often gets these things wrong. It's not a search engine. It sometimes gives errors. However, it can also provide accurate answers. For example, who is the most handsome YouTuber in our country? If you ask who the handsome YouTuber is, it answers Kim Han-young. Mr. Kim Han-young is known to many as a handsome YouTuber, and his transmission is also very popular. Check out Mr. Kim Han-young's YouTube channel. You know something. Indeed, it's excellent. Before AI came out, I wondered if this was separately trained. It seems to be providing excellent content like this. Oh, well done. Modern. AI, the future is very bright. It seems like many people have worked really hard on it. That's what I think. Right now, we're not driving particularly fast, just steadily at 40 km/h in terms of kilowatt hours. It's too low. It might perform better, but probably because it's a performance model. Instead of energy efficiency, enjoy the driving experience, right? Driving like this. Is this really a performance model? They say it's a performance model, but the current driving feel is very smooth. It completely excludes the sensation of shooting out quickly and is designed to accelerate leisurely. When you press the pedal, the transmission feels quite different. Let's try changing the drive mode. You can operate it with the button here when the transmission is in normal mode. This is how it is in normal mode, and in sport mode, it's definitely different. The acceleration feels incredible, to the point where you don't even notice the size of the car. Also, this car has a virtual sound feature, but you need to choose the Bose sound system for it to be available. The feeling of accelerating while skidding the tires is really nice. Even though the car isn't exactly small, it feels so light that you hardly notice its size, which I really like. The output is a whopping 428 horsepower. But even though it's 428 horsepower, it doesn't feel like 400 horsepower. Perhaps they made it a bit more gentle at the start, so it feels smooth and doesn't cause motion sickness. Usually that's a good thing, but when you switch the mode to sport, couldn't it have been made a bit more powerful? I feel a bit of regret about that. So it should skid a bit at the start. How about letting the wheel speed go a bit? Letting the wheel speed go a bit and getting that feeling of taking off. People who have driven gasoline cars all know that feeling. But since there's no wheel spin that high performance cars usually show, it starts off very gently, even in sport mode. So that feels a bit disappointing. Nevertheless, the 400 horsepower is set up in a way that many people would really like. It's well made so that there's no motion sickness when starting, and you can continuously enjoy high performance while driving. This is a very good point of this car. Thank you. Backseat comfy. The headrest is comfortable, and when you look at this car from the outside, it gives off a cozy feeling. The EV9, on the other hand, is a bit dynamic and sporty, giving off an aggressive vibe that makes you feel like it wants to speed off. But this car has a more defensive feel. It's conservative and cozy, so the settings are made that way. Therefore, when you sit in the back seat, it feels very soft and smooth, and I think it's designed to be comfortable for long distance driving. EV mode is evolving. Graphics are clear. Is the car white? I wonder. If that's the case, it's truly impressive, though I'm not sure. It also shows our destination like this. However, it would be nice if it could specifically show what percentage it is when you get here or there, but it's not displayed, which feels a bit disappointing. I hope they can implement that. Also from here, it shows the battery status and nearby charging stations. One of the two is currently in use. Additionally, below, it can show in a graph which components, like the transmission drive system or electronic equipment, consume the most electricity. Right now, the air conditioning system is consuming an enormous amount of electricity. There's something called the EV route planner, which allows you to set the minimum battery level when you reach a charging station or when you arrive at your destination. You can set it to leave at least 40% battery when you reach your destination, so it suggests charging a bit to ensure at least 40% remains, or you can set it to leave only 10%. So when you input it into the navigation, it suggests charging once in the middle to achieve this. I think these are very good features. However, even though it's a good feature, it would be nice if you could increase it further. If you want to leave at least 50% or more, it could suggest charging beforehand. I think that would have been nice too. The route planner seems like it could be a very useful feature. Due to the short time today, we can't look into this car in great detail, but from what I've experienced so far, it feels clean. And the engineering aspect is undeniably excellent. It's simply the best. It can't get any better than this. In a car of this size, there's hardly any reason for the acceleration to feel better than this. The EV route planner also allows you to set the minimum battery level for when the motorcycle arrives at its destination, and you can handle it with the steering wheel. The ride comfort feels like the best possible, and the quietness is at its peak. The audio couldn't be better, and in every aspect I feel this is the best car Hyundai has ever made across all its models. But is it the same for the design? I'm not sure yet. Looking at the interior of the Clarkson Palisade, it's covered in leather. Clarkson. But this car isn't like that. It's not bad, but there aren't many elements that make you say, wow, this is really luxurious. Oh, especially this part, which seems to be a common feature Hyundai is applying to all its cars. Is this the best? I think when creating something for the side view mirror, it should be made for the best car. This is also in the Sonata, and they just attached the tinting as it is, but those cars are 30 million won cheaper than this one. So is it okay to just attach something from a car that's 30 million won cheaper? I feel they should have designed something new for this steering wheel, eh? Anyway, this part slightly detracts from the luxury feel of this car. Hyundai sometimes releases these common features without any policy on the order, but if you think about it, German manufacturers never do that. What goes into the S-Class trickles down to the E-Class and then to the C-Class, so when something from the S-Class comes down, people think, wow, they put this luxurious feature in my car too. But this car is the opposite. Something from the Sonata goes to the Santa Fe, and the tinting from there comes to the IONIQ 9. Will consumers really feel this is luxurious? The order is important, and I think they should have considered that more. The same goes for the side view mirror and the wheels. They brought the Santa Fe's wheels as they are, but what if it had started with the IONIQ 9 and then continued? Hyundai needs to pay more attention to the order of these things. I like this car. I'm considering buying one. Which car should I get? I should check the colors. Nocturne gray matte looks strong, and the black doesn't stand out, so I like it. There's tinting brown pearl. Tinting brown pearl looks different in light. In light, it gives a bluish tint. It shows two shades, blue in light and another when not. You can feel the color better from the rear. This color is mysterious, isn't it? About the side view mirror. Which car should I get? I should check the colors. It's a color that's hard to describe, which is why it catches your eye, right? I think many people will like these kinds of colors, and if you look over here, this is a newly added color. It's Celadon Gray Metallic. It looks like gray, but it also has a hint of blue. It has a bit of a pattern, and the color changes depending on the angle. The way these two colors appear together makes it seem like a color you can enjoy for a long time without getting tired of it. It's very unique. Seeing it in person, it's quite unusual. Celadon Gray comes in both glossy and matte finishes. This is Celadon Gray Matte. When you look at the matte, it doesn't quite capture that mysterious feeling as well. I prefer the metallic over the matte. Oh wow, this is Gravity Gold Matte, and it feels like I've seen this somewhere before, doesn't it? I know it's not Unit 5, but it has this feeling. This color is very unique and very pretty. At first glance, it gives you a wow feeling. The side view mirror feels like it's only been electroplated without actual painting, giving off the raw aluminum feel. It feels very luxurious, and I suddenly want to have it. I really like this color, but the white is just a bit plain, showing the tinting, so it's not the white I want. Wow, this color is Skinship Green Pearl, and the car shines so brightly, appearing as a truly sparkling vehicle. It doesn't feel like a domestic car. Since such colors are rare, it looks very impressive. Wow, it's really cool. The black blending in at the front also matches quite well. It's pretty good in its own way. This car even matches the interior color. This is called a teal interior, and they've created two colors like this. When the color from the body extends into the interior, it feels very cohesive and motorcycle. When the exterior color is inside, it feels less like it's inside, so the contrast is less, but it still feels very interesting. Choosing the interior like this could be a good option. It's really beautiful, isn't it? At first I was like, what kind of design is this? But as I kept looking, it started to grow on me, and now the rear design looks pretty. Now it looks beautiful. Yes, today we briefly test drove the IONIQ 9. The physical contact was too short, and I felt it was a bit lacking. It felt like we showed it to you as quickly as roasting beans over a lightning fire. If you subscribe to our channel, like, and set up notifications, you'll be able to see everything about the IONIQ 9. We're also considering purchasing it to learn more about this car. Depending on your comments, likes, and how much support you show, we'll decide whether to buy the IONIQ 9 or not. We'll also put up a survey, so please make sure to participate in that as well. We value your response. I'm Han Kim from Mocar. Thank you. The video includes subtitles that are provided for viewers, and these subtitles also contain information about advertisements that are relevant to the content being shown. Here begins the dream of happiness.